5 thieves carefully planned a late-night robbery, targeting a jewelry store they believed would be easy to break into. With no alarm sounding, they moved fast, smashing display cases and gathering valuable jewelry. For a brief moment, it seemed like everything was going smoothly. However, what they didn't know was that the store was equipped with a hidden emergency security system. Suddenly, tear gas began to fill the store, spreading quickly through the air. The thieves were caught completely off guard. Their eyes started burning, their vision blurred, and breathing became difficult. A man was upstairs in his home late at night when 2 intruders suddenly broke in and threatened him at gunpoint, attempting to forcefully take him away. The situation became extremely tense as they tried to move him out of the house against his will, believing they had control of the situation. However, unknown to them, his girlfriend was still inside the house and had heard the commotion. She quickly grabbed a gun and ran out, guns blazing. The unexpected resistance caused confusion among them, breaking their focus and plan. Caught off guard and no longer confident in their control of the situation, the intruders abandoned their attempt and fled the scene. The man and his girlfriend were left shaken, but safe, grateful that the situation ended without further harm. On a quiet Tuesday afternoon in southern Brazil, 2 thieves stopped a driver on a road in broad daylight by blocking his way. Both of them approached a car, threatened the driver, and demanded his belongings. Outnumbered and caught off guard, the driver handed over his items. After grabbing what they wanted, the thieves quickly returned to their motorbike to escape. However, just as they were about to leave, the driver suddenly accelerated and rammed into them. The impact knocked them off balance and damaged their motorbike, stopping their escape. A robber entered a jewelry store late at night, taking advantage of the quiet and nearly empty surroundings. With a gun in his hand, he approached the cashier and demanded that all the money in the register be handed over immediately. The cashier remained calm and appeared to cooperate, slowly turning to open the register. As he began gathering the money, the cashier acted carefully, avoiding any sudden movements that might alarm the robber. The robber, focused on the cash and convinced he was in control, paid less attention to the cashier. This moment of distraction created a brief but critical opportunity. Seizing that chance, the cashier quickly reached for a hidden firearm beneath the counter. In a swift motion, he brought it out and fired at the robber, striking him and stopping the robbery. The situation, which had started as a dangerous hold-up, changed in seconds due to the cashier's unexpected response. The incident highlights how quickly events can shift in high-risk situations. A frightening situation unfolded on the streets of Colombia when an American tourist found herself targeted by a thief armed with a knife. What started as a routine walk quickly turned into a tense encounter. The thief approached her and suddenly tried to snatch her bag, using the knife to threaten and intimidate her. But instead of freezing, the tourist resisted. She held tightly to her belongings and struggled to keep control, refusing to give in despite the danger. Her resistance drew attention. Within moments, nearby passers-by noticed what was happening and rushed in to help. Together, they intervened and overpowered the thief, stopping the robbery before it could go any further. The attacker was subdued, and the tourist was left shaken but safe. The incident highlights both the risks travelers can face and the impact of quick action, both from victims who stay alert and from bystanders willing to step in and help. Late one night, a man was driving home with his family when suddenly a car sped in front of them and blocked the road. Before he could react, 3 masked men jumped out of the vehicle and opened fire on their car. Gunshots echoed through the dark street as the family panicked inside. But the attackers didn't realize one thing: the car was bulletproof. The bullets struck the windows and doors but couldn't penetrate the vehicle. Thinking quickly, the driver slammed the car into reverse, maneuvered around the attacker's car, and then hit the accelerator. Within seconds, they sped away from the scene, leaving the shocked gunmen behind. A tense scene unfolded inside a small store when an armed robber walked in and approached the cashier with a gun. Without hesitation, he pointed the weapon and handed over a bag, ordering the cashier to fill it with money. For a moment, everything stood still. The threat was clear, and the pressure was intense. But instead of immediately complying, the cashier held his ground. He refused to follow the robber's demands, creating an unexpected pause in the situation. The robber, caught off guard by the resistance, hesitated. With no quick way to get what he wanted and the risk of attention increasing, he began to lose control of the situation. After a few seconds of uncertainty, the robber made a decision. He backed away and left the store empty-handed. The encounter ended without violence, showing how unpredictability can sometimes disrupt criminal plans. Still, situations like this are highly dangerous, and personal safety should always come first. A robber walked into a store, pretending to be just another customer at first. Without warning, the man pulled out a gun and demanded money, while the cashier hesitated under pressure. And known to the robber, one of the customers in the store was an off-duty police officer. Staying composed, the officer quickly assessed the situation and drew his weapon. Acting without hesitation, he confronted the robber, leading to a brief exchange of gunfire that sent everyone scrambling for safety. Realizing the situation had turned against him, the robber lost his nerve and fled the store, escaping before he could be apprehended. The officer did not pursue recklessly but ensured that everyone inside was safe and unharmed. In the end, what could have been a tragic incident was stopped, thanks to the presence and quick response of the off-duty officer. It was late in the evening when a police officer returned home after her shift. The neighborhood was quiet as she slowly reversed her car into her garage. Suddenly, a white car pulled up in front of her house. Before she could fully react, 3 men stepped out of the vehicle and began firing at her car. The attack was swift and unexpected. Inside the vehicle, the officer remained focused despite the chaos. Drawing on her training, she quickly reached for her legally carried firearm. From inside her car, she returned fire in defense, forcing the attackers to retreat. The suspects, caught off guard by her response, rushed back into their white car. Within seconds, they sped away from the scene, abandoning the attack. The officer immediately secured herself, contacted emergency services, and reported the incident. Additional units arrived shortly after to investigate the attempted ambush. Thanks to her calm reaction and professional training, the officer survived the attack and prevented the situation from escalating further. On a bright Sunday morning, a woman was driving her car along a quiet road. She was focused on her drive, enjoying the peaceful atmosphere of the day. Everything seemed normal until the car directly in front of her suddenly slowed down and came to an unexpected stop. At first, she assumed there might be a minor issue with the vehicle. However, her concern quickly turned into alarm when the men stepped out of the stopped car. They began walking quickly toward her car with guns drawn. It became immediately clear that this was not a coincidence but a planned attempt to rob her. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, the woman acted without hesitation. Rather than freezing in fear, she made a quick decision to escape. She pressed down hard on the accelerator and steered her car skillfully to create an opening. As she maneuvered forward, she struck one of the approaching thieves, knocking him off balance. The sudden and unexpected move disrupted their plan completely. Within seconds, she drove past them and sped away from the scene. The thieves, surprised by her bold reaction, were left behind as she zoomed into safety. What had begun as a peaceful morning drive nearly turned into a dangerous encounter, but her quick thinking and decisive action allowed her to escape unharmed.